Hey there, gardening friends. You know who you are. Larry, David, Calvin, Brad Mills. We're getting a little bit late start on our garden here at MountainCare, but we better get it going before it gets any later. We started by digging out some of our compost we've been collecting. Remember how we were putting the broken egg shells, the grass clippings, and coffee grounds, and then we had to turn it quite a few times to stir it up and get it to form into compost. It really builds up the soil, helps you to get better yield with whatever you're planting. Let's take this over to where we're going to get started with our sunflowers starters that we started at home a few weeks back. We've got a little area cleared out of the grass here. We'll add a little bit more soil and then get them in the ground. We'll have the fence here so they can grow. Stand up at the fence, and we might have to tie them up a little bit. We can do that to get a little taller. Give them a little room. We might have to thin them out and spread them out a little bit somewhere else. These were a special request by one of our MountainCare friends. His initials are DB. We started these from seeds about a month ago. They got beat down a little bit by a couple of unexpected rain showers, but we're hoping for the best now. Probably putting them a little closer than we need to, but we can thin them out as we see the need to. A few years back, we had sunflowers, all different colors, growing about 10 feet tall eventually. We're going to cover up all the roots, give them a good drink of water. A little label prepared for them, sunflowers, so nobody will forget what we planted here. We'll give them a good drink of water before we leave. When they get a little taller, we'll tie them up, help them grow tall. Remember the problems that we have with our faucet here, especially turning it off. So we've taken the sprayer off. We're going to give it a good little drink of water. We might be getting some more rain before the day's over. Before we go any further, let me show you in the back here. Remember the raised bed back by the rose bushes? Last time you saw this, probably it was covered in grass, just grass covering, weeds, all kinds of scrappy stuff that had come up, just popped up over the years. We've cleaned it all out, weeded, taken all the weeds out, added some good soil to it, and we'll save this for the flowers that we're going to put in. We also gave a big drink of water to the hydrangea bush that's starting to bloom. It's real pretty. We can bring that in for the table decorations when it gets a little prettier. If you come back here a little ways, we'll see how tall our gladiola plants. We put the bulbs in the ground, I believe the 1st of March. And then we weeded back when we came a few weeks back. We took all the weeds out and the grass. We'll be able to tie these up with a little string too to help them grow straight and tall. We'll see multiple different colors they're going to come. We're going to enjoy that. We missed the wisteria bush being full of purple blooms, but we'll see it again in the future. Come on back now, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. We better get some of our vegetables planted in the raised beds up by the picnic tables. Remember what little creature we usually see here on the fence? He was visiting this morning, but he's not there right now. We'll get a picture when we can. The black snake, but you'll see evidence down here. There's a snake skin down here, and there's one back here by the air conditioning, some of the piping. He was sitting up here. This is one of his favorite spots to sit and warm in the sun. He was here this morning, but maybe he's gone out to dinner. We'll see. He'll be back one of these days soon. We'll get a picture of him. Wraps himself around the fence post here. But let's go get some of our vegetables we've brought with us. We have yellow orange peppers. We have some purple basil, some tomato plants. Let's come on back. We'll take a look a little closer. Better put the lid on our composter before we forget. Give it a few turns. Remember, we don't put any dairy or meat in here. Scraps, maybe like potato peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, grass clippings. Give it a few good turns every day, and it'll help build up the soil. Like I said, to get a better yield for your harvest. Don't put any dairy or meat in there. You got to remember that. You don't want to be attracting anything that we don't want to have around. The raised beds here, we have all labels for everything. This is a cucumber plant. I'm going to pop it out. Put it right here. Loosen up the roots a little bit. And we'll put our label up where we can see what we planted. As it grows a little bit, we might have to put it in another container to give it a little bit more soil. Back here we have a couple of pots of romaine lettuce we're getting started. Take off the outside. Romaine lettuce and then red romaine. It's a little bit on the red side. We'll be able to make some salads with the lettuce and the peppers and the cucumbers. This is red romaine we're going to try here. And notice around the edges of the raised bed here we have some little marigolds. No, they're not marigolds. I think they're marigolds. They're a natural pest deterrent. The bugs won't come around and be so likely to eat our little baby plants. Put this one over here. Put them down in the ground, and it'll protect our plants from some little creature eating them before we get a chance to. Open up the roots a little bit, get them down in the ground. We'll give them a good drink of water before we leave. Trying to keep the weeds down with the straw. And over here we have something we haven't tried here yet. They're watermelon plants. Baby icebox. That is a variety. We're gonna see if we can get some watermelons with our for our lunches and snacks in the near future. It'll take a while before they will produce anything. As you can imagine, they've got a ways to go. They're starting out pretty tiny. Oops. Pop them out, loosen up the roots a little bit. Put our label in. We're going to add a little more marigolds over here, so as I said, the little creatures don't come and eat it before we get a chance to give them a try. It's a natural pest control you can put into effect here. Put to our use. That way, we're going to add one more. Shall we put this one here? We'll put it over, put it back here. We'll add some more as we see what really takes root. If something's growing well, we'll add something different. If something's not taken off, we'll replace it and put something else we can enjoy. We'll go over to the second raised bed over here. Here we have our orange sweet bell peppers. You've seen me eating peppers a lot in the afternoons around snack time with my favorite blue cheese dressing from a local restaurant that many of you have enjoyed as well. We have 2 orange and a yellow pepper in the middle here. It's starting to rain a little bit. Maybe we won't have to water much when we get down here. Put them down in the ground. This is a hot pepper. The variety is called Anaheim. I don't know how hot that will be. We'll let Cliff try that one out. He's our hot pepper aficionado here at MountainCare. He knows all kinds of tips about gardening. If you have any questions about gardening, you ask Cliff. He'll very likely know the answer for you. He's been around here for a long time. His family had some starting times with the state. Shoot. Hold on here a minute. Starting to rain a little bit more. With the farmers market up in Asheville area. I'm going to try to keep the weeds down. Get a little bit more in the ground. Now we're finishing up for the day. We have purple basil. Remember, a couple of times we've made pesto with our basil plants. It's really tasty. A little pine nuts, some olive oil. You can dip vegetables with it. Put it in Italian food. Purple basil. We'll see how that turns out. I like the color of it, so we'll give that a try here too. Back here we have a couple of tomato plants. It looks a little droopy at the moment. Didn't get watered earlier, and you can see how warm it's been. But we also, if you look closely, we also have quite a few little tomatoes already starting up on it. We're going to loosen up the roots here a little bit. Get it down in the ground. Give it a good water, and we also have our last little marigold plant here. You can get them in orange or yellow. The ones that we bought happen to all be orange. Get it out of here. There we go. We're going to put it over here on this side to try to keep the pests away. Loosen up the roots a little bit and get it down in the dirt. Put our straw around to keep the weeds down a little bit. When we first came in here a month or two back, the weeds were about 2 feet tall in here. Took me an afternoon to pull all the weeds, but now we built up the soil with some good topsoil, stirred it all in. This will perk up. It'll look better even tomorrow when we give it a little more water. So let's go get keep in mind when you come back, if you want to plant something, bring it with you. We'll find a spot for it. We'll also decide what kind of flowers we're going to put. But we have one more item to put in the dirt today. Brad Mills, you might remember this big pot back here. Last year he planted morning glory seeds. This year we're going to try a little different climbing or vine plant. It's called clematis. You can look closer, it has a lot of little buds on it. Hopefully it'll take off and come all around the bars here. The trellis. I'm going to pop it out of the plant, out of the pot I mean. We don't need this because we have the little trellis area. It says it needs full sun, so this should be a good area to be sure it gets full sun, and we'll be able to see it from the cafe here. We got to dig it down a little bit. I don't know if we'll be able to take that off. We'll just let it take off once it starts growing. You won't worry about it. You won't even be able to see the trellis pretty soon. If it takes off, it'll be covering the trellis. They're real pretty, real bright color plants. These clematis, you can get them in white, pink, it's kind of wine color here. It says they're deer resistant, outstanding color, and it's a perennial. That means that the plant will come back again and again each year. A lot of people like to put them around a mailbox post or around the fence, and we're gonna see how it takes off here. Enjoy this bright color. So that's all we're gonna be able to do today. It's starting to rain. Keep in mind what you can put in some pots on your deck or your front porch, wherever it's gonna get some sun, and enjoy taking care of, seeing how the plants are growing. We'll be able to eat some of this, but we'll also be able to enjoy just the beauty of the different colored flowers. So I'll see you again in a week or so. This is Susan. Happy gardening. Bye now.